I have 2 other videos that I will be recording after this one, so they'll be coming out in probably a week after this one. So one day I was just sitting at burger place, minding my own business, when all of a sudden a few people come up to me and ask, "Hey, are you a cosplayer perchance?" And I'm like, "Why, yes, I am." They probably noticed my unicorn badges on my bag, which is a local Comic Con that we have here in Latvia, so it was pretty obvious why they approached me. And I'm glad they did. We exchanged Instagrams, followed each other, and I just went about my day, thinking not much of it. Sometime later, I see one of them post in their stories that they are looking for a Vi cosplayer for their performance because theirs had some kind of issue and couldn't perform with them anymore. And I was thinking, I am quite busy, I have a lot of work, a lot of schoolwork, but you know what? I'll shoot my shot. This is some kind of sign from the universe. I will ask them, hey, maybe I can join. And they accepted me. And yeah, we soon started talking about the performance, the ideas that they have, and I was like, great. I'll start working on it as soon as I can. So we wanted to perform with this at WinterCon. We applied. Honestly, at the time, I was very busy. I did not have a lot of time to work on it. A lot of us didn't have a lot of time to work on it, so we ended up not getting accepted. But I personally wasn't too sad about it because it means now we have way more time to work on it. So we decided to apply again on summer and during that time continue working on it. So over the span of these months, I continued working on it. Eventually, the day of the con came, we went to pre-judging, we performed, everything was great. But I wasn't 100% happy with my cosplay. There was a lot of things that I didn't manage to finish and things that I wanted to make better. After some time, I found out about this thing called Burning Pumpkin Fest, also known as J-Zone, happening in Tallinn, Estonia. And I was like, wait, I don't have to make a cosplay completely from scratch. I can just go with Vi. And then I realized, might as well apply to the cosplay competition. And now I had approximately 2 months to upgrade my Vi cosplay. And so I did. In this video, I will tell you all about my process, how I made my cosplay from way back then, and how I made all of the new upgrades. So first thing I did was look up some references. Thankfully, she had a whole reference sheet where I could see all of the details of her outfit and figure out what I would do next. I decided I would go thrift shopping to see if I can find any articles of clothing that are already similar to what I need and which I could easily alter. So I ended up finding this long red coat that I could use for her jacket. I know her jacket is probably meant to be a leather jacket, but I did not find anything suitable for that. And this coat actually had a really similar build to her jacket, so I decided I would just take this one. Then I found this blue undershirt that I could use for her hooded shirt. I found this tank top that I could use. I found a skirt that I would end up using as her pants, and I found some leggings for underneath the pants. And so I started working. For the hooded shirt, I cut up this long sleeved shirt, I cut up the sleeves, and from the excess fabric, I made a hood. At first, I made a mock-up hood from some different fabric, and when I was happy with that, then I made it from the final fabric. And for the first time, kind of sewing, it turned out really nice. I was happy with it. This was the first project that I would properly try sewing on, at least a little bit more than before. I've dabbled using the sewing machine here and there, but at this point, I was quite scared of it still. I did not know anything that I had to do with it or how it works, but I knew it was time that I would finally need to start learning how to use it. A dumb decision that I made was removing the buttons from the shirt because I did need a way to close them, so I ended up having to sew on some snap buttons, which is kind of better. They're less visible than the buttons since she doesn't have buttons on her shirt after all, so I think that worked out in the end. But another mistake, I made the shirt way too short. It would have been nice if I would have been able to tuck it in my pants, but it was too short to do so it created this very uncomfortable feeling when it was too short. For the tank top, I got this shirt from the thrift store. It had some lace that I removed first, and then I painted it. I should probably find a new way how to paint fabric that is not acrylic paints, because it turns everything incredibly crusty and hard and just not nice. But I mean, it did the job. It looked alright. Then on the upgraded version on the cosplay, I sewed on these lines. I also added these details on the edges on top. And so this version looked actually pretty accurate in the end. So the pants. I ended up remaking the pants for the second version of the cosplay. The first version was a complete disaster. I didn't have much of a plan when making these pants, so I got the skirt, I cut it up, I painted on the stripes, and then I just added the zipper back in. So once again, I kind of had a skirt. So yeah, after that I kind of tried to sew together like the in-between part of the legs, and that didn't work because obviously that's not how you make pants. I don't know what was I thinking, but yeah, I made this monstrosity and I was like, yeah, that looks good. That's how pants look, obviously. And I couldn't figure out why it makes these weird bunches and bulges when that's not how you make pants. What even is that? So in the second time when I made the pants, I actually drafted a pattern. It was really hard to find the accurate fabric for the pants because I don't know why I was still allergic to the fabric store at this point. In my mind, I thought that everything cost $3 billion over there, so I was strictly still shopping at thrift stores for fabric. So finding the right shades, finding the right materials was damn near impossible. I found some kind of dress and some kind of coat that had similar colors. They were pretty off, but I was like, okay, we're gonna work with this. So this time I didn't paint on the stripes. I made them from a different fabric that I cut up. I sewed edges nicely, and then I sewed that onto the fabric. Her pants have this weird front. So yeah, I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not figuring that out. I'm just making regular pants, whatever. Once I sewed all the lines onto it, I drafted my pattern. I took some pants that I already owned, made a paper pattern, transferred that onto that fabric, and then assembled everything. And oh my god, we got pants that look like pants. I was really happy with how these turned out. They at least fit me nicely and they looked like pants. I don't know what was that? What was that? I don't know. Anyways. Next thing I worked on was the belt? What even is that? Can anyone tell me what that is? I've looked at that reference for so long and I still cannot figure out what is that even supposed to be. But I managed to think of something. I made this longer rectangular strip of fabric and this smaller one. Then I sewed them together. I added some snap buttons in front, and then yeah, I think I did it. It looked pretty similar. Similar? What is that? It looked pretty similar in the end, so still, what is that? We love fictional articles of clothing. Like, they don't need to make sense. Make the cosplayers deal with that later. So then I moved on to the jacket. I cut it to the appropriate length. I added some nice cuffs to the sleeves. I finished the bottom. I added those shoulder bits that she has. I made some patches that I glued on and added all the other details.
This for everybody going through tough times. Believe me, been there, done that. But every day above ground is a great day. Remember that.
All of those metal buttons and buckles I made from air dry clay, which I spray painted gold. So the boots also had two very different iterations. The first ones were boots, maybe. They had concepts of a boot. But yeah, I took these rubber boots that I had, made a tape pattern, chose some really bad fabric. It was so stiff and just bad. So bad. But I made something, and then I ended up gluing that onto a different pair of boots because I liked that sole better. And they were not good. I remade them completely. So for the second version of the boots, I went thrifting again, and I was looking for leather boots which I could paint and remake that looked similar to what she had. And that was a struggle. None of them had the sole that I needed. None of them were long enough. But then I found these boots. Oh, they were amazing. I love the sole that they had. They were the perfect length. So I bought them. They were a tiny bit too small, so walking in them was very painful. So don't be like me. Wear shoes that actually fit you. But yeah, I didn't have a choice at this point. I was running out of time, and they were too good to pass up. So yeah, it wasn't like horrible. They weren't like 2 sizes too small. It were just like quite tight. So I got these boots. I cut them open down the middle in front, and I painted them. Then I rolled down the top, painted that, added all the accessories, and they were so good in the end. I love how they turned out. The wig I also made 2 versions of. The first one was... I don't even know if you could call that a wig. It was a mess. So I decided I would take this old light pink wig that I had and remake that into the Vi wig. And you're probably looking at that like, Maddie, that is not even close to the right shade. What are you thinking? And the thing is, I wasn't thinking. I was just like, I'll figure out a way to color it lighter. Right. So yeah, I cut up that old wig. I made some extra wefts from yarn, and I mean, at this stage, it looked like a wig. Does it look like a Vi wig? No, but it looks like a wig, so I was like, nice! And now we just need to color it. And how did I color it? With acrylic paints. If I had a nickel for every time that I used acrylic paints, or I definitely should not have used acrylic paints, I would have a couple nickels at least, which is too many. So yeah, I did that, and she looks scary. So why did I even think this could remotely work? I used a similar method when I was styling my Lucy wig way back sometime. But the thing is, that time the whole wig was synthetic. I didn't use yarn fibers, and the yarn fibers were probably the biggest culprit to this looking crust city at the end. So yeah, we made that wig. I probably would have looked better just using my regular hair for that. It was sad. So I knew I 100% have to remake that completely. So the first thing I wanted to do, I was still thinking that somehow I could use yarn wefts for this. I don't know why we still hadn't learned at this point, but I was like, no, they will work. They will work. So I decided to completely ravage my Rumpelstiltskin wig, R.I.P., you will be missed, and take those wefts and dye them with like synthetic fabric dye. And what ended up happening is that everything except for the wefts turned red. My kitchen especially. So we're never doing that again. I was in quite the pickle because why I did this in the first place, because I knew I wouldn't have enough time to order a wig or order wefts online from overseas, because that shipping time is not reliable at all, and since I had like a month, I could not risk that. So I started looking for local options, and to my surprise, we actually have quite a lot to choose from. I found a store which sold Kanekalon, I don't know, hair wefts for a really good price. Like the 2 shades that I ended up buying cost me about the same as like a wig would cost from AliExpress. So I got those, Another great thing, they were pre-crimped, so working with them was amazing. I got this very bright pink shade and this dark red shade. I mixed them together to get something more similar to what Vi had. I made the base of the wig with some felt and then I glued on all of the wefts. I know she still looks sketchy, but trust the process. Please trust the process. Because once I glued on all the wefts, I started cutting them and styling them, and drumroll please. Oh my god. Can you believe it? Can you believe we went from that to this? Oh my god, I was ecstatic. I was so happy with how it turned out. The last thing I needed to do was color the side part, so being me, I bought a permanent marker that was way too dark for the actual shade. At this point, I really am starting to consider maybe I am colorblind. Because, I was at the store looking at references, looking at markers, being like, looking at a dark red marker and looking at the very purple marker and being like, yes, I think the purple marker is very accurate to what she has. But it's fine. In the end, she looked great. I was really happy with her, so no complaints there. Especially seeing what I had before. She was perfect. She was perfect in my eyes. And now it is time for the Gauntlet. So this is one of the pieces that I didn't actually remake because I spent the most amount of time for that in the first place. So I started out looking up some references, looking up some videos with other people making it, and then I started just playing around with cardboard, seeing how I would build a structure, and figuring out how I would make the fingers. I actually made some blueprints on Figma for the fingers. Then I printed that out, I traced it onto cardboard and made a lot of these fingies. Yeah, we don't have EVA foam locally available, so I wasn't gonna make it from that. I thought cardboard would work well enough. You know, I tried to be very clean and meticulous so that it didn't look too cheap. I really wanted the fingers to be movable for this, so I also made some tests for that with some fishing wire and some elastic band, so that turned out really good as well. So I assembled all the fingers, I started to make the outer structure of the gauntlet. I wasn't trying to be super precise with all of these parts, I just looked at the reference and tried to eyeball it and then just like roughly cut out the shapes and glued them on, and yeah, I spent a whole night on that. You wouldn't believe that it took that long, but it actually did, yeah. But I was so happy with how it turned out. It like at a glance, it looks legit. It looks very accurate. So that was great. Especially when I spray painted it, it came together so nicely. It looked really solid and really good. Then I taped off the parts that didn't need to be gold, spray painted it gold, took off all the tape, and yeah, she's beautiful. She looked great. The finger movement wasn't the best, but we had a little bit of movement, so that's already something. Actually, I have her here as well. She's a bit broken. She's been through it. She's fell on the ground a couple of times, and yeah, but like it's pretty solid. Like I'm really happy with all the details. Okay, there we go. So yeah, they move a bit. They move a bit. That's pretty cool, I guess. So all the other miscellaneous details, like the gold buckles and details in the belt, like I made those from like air dry clay. I made the belt from EVA foam that I got from a yoga mat, because that's the only EVA foam we have here. I was working on her still up until the very last hour. I finished her early in the morning. I had 1 whole hour to sleep before the con. Can you imagine that? I was treating myself. It was good. So I did that. I sleep a bit, wake up, get ready. I mostly dress up already and put up my makeup in the Airbnb. Then we head off to the con, do my pre-judging, and then I'm just chilling up until my performance. And talking about the con, J-Zone, Burning Pumpkin Fest, wow. This is my first time to a con outside of Latvia. It was so good. It was such a good time. I loved the location. I loved the program. Everything was just awesome. It was a great time. I was really happy to be there. I was really happy to perform there. So that was great. So yes, you did hear me right. I performed, yes, and you're wondering, how did that look? How did that turn out? Well, I'll let my friend Olive talk to you about that.
So the fatal shot for the part where I knock off Mother, you know, and then she picks up and then she me, that fatal shot, it was like a loud crash, and it should have looked like this when I go at her head, like this, and then she crashes. But in reality, what happened? It was like she was already like somewhere there. It went like this, and then I went like, and then I went, and then I just started literally my ass at the audience.
Flash.
You should have just kicked her.
You should have kicked.
But it's like
I kicked her in the end, but I should have kicked harder because it was like.
Yeah, well, like a.
You just needed your movement, like stomp on her fucking audience.
also like the punch Mother, like I'm there, she stops me there, and I'm just like shit.
That air pressure was insane.
Air pressure forward.
Mother, you know, me and Mother on our +5 delusion stage, she's like, when I was falling, because my arm was like this, she went like, oh no, it looks like you're punching me. Like, it's all good, it's good. But anyways, and
Next time, real fist play.
So yeah, the script itself, it wasn't too complex. It was Vi in jail. Vi gets out of jail. Vi looks for powder. Oh no, an enforcer comes and beats her up. Vi finds the gauntlet. Vi beats up the enforcer. Victory. So pretty simple, right? So I don't know how literally everything that could have and could not have gone wrong went wrong. My pants, they broke at the first second when I sat down, even before the performance started. We had a fight choreography that I made up the day before and that we practiced the day before and the day of the con. Why? Because I was too busy making my cosplay. I didn't have time to think about the performance. Who do you think I am? A cosplayer that makes stuff on time? Psh, is this your first video of me? Because by now you should know that this guy does not make anything on time. We came up with quite a solid choreography and like everything was well, but in the performance, it was something. None of the hits were on time. Nothing was on time. My friend fell and the last punch kick. Beautiful cinema. Oh, but like I can't even be mad because it went so badly that it's just like ridiculous, right? Just looking back at it is like, I think it's fine. I think the audience had fun. I had people coming up to me saying like, what a great performance. I was like, thanks. It's fine. It's a really fun memory to think back of now. So I'm happy with how it went. I'm happy with my friend helping me. Thank you. You're always there to support me and help me whenever I need. So I'm very thankful for that. I've had a lot of fun with Vi. A lot of trouble, a lot of pain, but a lot of fun with her as well. So I'm probably retiring her now. I don't know, I might pull her out whenever I go to a convention and I want like a quick cosplay to wear. But yeah, I'm happy with what I did. I'm happy with what I created. I also had this amazing opportunity to get these incredible photos taken at the con, so thank you very much to this photographer. I'll be leaving his socials down below in the description, so definitely check him out. And with this project, I could really feel my skills improve. Finally, I touched a sewing machine, so that was already amazing progress. And yeah, just in general, I'm happy with how it went. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like my channel, if you like my videos, please consider subscribing. I might upload more than once a year sometimes. There's actually a video coming after this one as well. Follow on my Instagram, on my TikTok. I do post there a little bit more frequently than here, so if that interests you, consider checking that out. Thank you again, and see you next time.